Hi there, friends. It's your old pal Paula, and you're in my Las Vegas kitchen. It is the end of October, and we all know that the flavor of the month in October is always pumpkin spice. So I went searching for a recipe that I could make for you today that was pumpkin-y spicy. I found one from one of the newest additions to the restaurateurs down on the Las Vegas Strip, the incomparable Martha Stewart. She has a pumpkin cupcake recipe that has rave reviews, and of course it's going to be topped by a cream cheese frosting. That sounds perfect for the whole holiday season, and I think you're going to want to make this multiple times. Plus, no mixer required. Now, we're going to talk about ingredients in a sec, but first, how about this? I haven't had a new apron in a while. This one I got at the Star Trek convention back in August. For those of you that watch Star Trek, this is Captain Picard's winery or vineyard in France, Chateau Picard. Ooh, makes me want a glass of wine. All right, let's talk about ingredients for our cupcakes. We are starting with unbleached flour. We're going to use both white sugar and brown sugar. And of course, the star attraction is going to be a can of pumpkin. We are going to add all kinds of cool stuff to that pumpkin, including cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, allspice, baking soda and powder, some kosher salt, eggs, and butter. OMG, it sounds fantastic. And then we are going to top it with an icing that only has 4 ingredients. It's going to be butter, cream cheese, vanilla, and powdered sugar. Plus, I have some colored sprinkles to put on the top of the cupcakes for a little bit of festive season for October and November. Come on, let's turn on the oven. We got baking to do. Here we are, it's prep area, so let's talk about prep. The first thing I had to do was take 2 sticks of unsalted butter and I melted them. So I did that a little while ago because that needs to cool off, so there you go. I'm just going to set that aside, 2 sticks of butter melted and cooled. Next up, I have 2 cups of unbleached flour and my trusty whisk, and all we're going to do here is whisk all the dries together. I have turned my oven on to 350 degrees and I have lined 2 cupcake pans, total of 24 cupcakes, with just cupcake papers that I got at the store. So let's talk about what goes into the flour because it's a lot. I have a teaspoon each of soda and baking powder, both of those. I have a teaspoon each of kosher salt and fresh cinnamon that I just got at the store this week. I have a teaspoon of ginger and then a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/4 teaspoon of allspice. Oh my gosh, allspice. Got to be cloves in there because it smells incredible when you open that up. So, whisk. And all the dries go together. The fragrance of those particular spices just screams holidays to me. No doubt about it. So all we do with that is just stir that together well, and I'm going to set that aside. That's all there is to it. And then next up, we are going to do our wet ingredients for the cupcakes. And again, notice no noisy mixer. We're doing all of this by hand. See you in a sec with the wet stuff. Okay, we're going to start with the base of 1 cup of white sugar and 1 cup of light brown sugar packed. And that's going in my bowl first. Let me just crumble this a little bit. When you measure it out ahead of time, it tends to want to get a little hard. And again, we're just supposed to use a whisk, so we're going to whisk the 2 sugars together first. So while I do that, let me tell you about Martha Stewart's foray into the restaurant business. She just recently created or opened her very first restaurant, and that is the Bedford. It is over at the Paris, and Dale and I had the great good fortune to go there for dinner earlier this year. It was a fantastic experience, really, you know, the white tablecloth experience. It was fabulous. All right, so boy, you know what? The brown sugar gets lumpy. I hope we can work through that. Next, we're going to put in our 2 melted sticks of unsalted butter. That's going in with the sugars. And that is kind of cool to room temperature by now. So we'll see if we can get some of this brown sugar to break up or melt a little bit. Next, I have 4 eggs that are just lightly beaten, just with another whisk. So we'll drop in the 4 eggs. And then the last ingredient is a 15-ounce can of pumpkin puree. So that's going to go in, and that becomes the liquid base for the cupcakes. Alrighty, now to make things easier, because pulling pumpkin out of a can is a little time consuming, I went ahead and did it off camera. So we're going to throw in our can of pumpkin puree. And make sure you don't use pumpkin pie filling. Use just pure pumpkin. All right, ooh, that smells amazing. All right, so I'm gonna work with my liquids, get this all beautifully homogeneous, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna put in our flour and spice mixture. I will be back. Look in the overhead, this is nice and thick and creamy, and all those lumps got incorporated, so we are ready now. Well, there's 1 or 2, but that's okay. We are ready now to add our flour and spice mixture. Let me just put a little bit in. You know me, if you watch Paula's Kitchen, I always do these things in thirds with flour. I like to incorporate things slowly. So let me just stir this in. Meanwhile, while I'm doing this, take a look behind me. Those of you that follow our other channel, Las Vegas Inside and Out, you probably have heard the saga of the refrigerator. I just want you to notice that beautiful refrigerator behind me, and how happy are we to have it there after 11 days without one. Yay!
And our decorations from Bryn.
Yes, so that's cameraman Dale, by the way. He is here as always. And he's giving a shout out to our friend Bryn and little hand decorations on the fridge. Hey Bryn, we need some fall artwork. Come on, send it over. All right, so this is my second flour. Notice how thick this is getting. Oh, initially it reminded me of the filling for pumpkin pie, but now that I add the flour, it's certainly looking like a cake batter. I can't wait. We need smell-o-vision for when this goes in the oven. It's going to bake for about 20 or 25 minutes. I just need to fill the cupcake papers about halfway, and we will be enjoying pumpkin cupcakes with cream cheese icing. All right, moment of truth. I'm going to fill each one of these cupcake papers halfway. Now, Martha tells us in the recipe, don't overmix this because you don't want tough cupcakes. You want them to be tender. That's also true of muffins. So I didn't overmix. This is thick and fantastic. Oh my goodness. I will see you in 20 to 25 minutes when these babies are done. While our cupcakes are baking, why not get started on our cream cheese frosting? I have an 8-ounce block of cream cheese at room temperature, and I'm going to follow the instructions to just use a spatula and kind of soften it a little bit more. It's pretty darn soft. It's been out for a couple of hours. And then I have 1 more stick of the unsalted butter, and I've actually cut that into some smaller wedges so that I can incorporate the butter just a little bit at a time. Again, just using a spatula, not a mixer. So this is super, super easy to do because they are so soft. So I'll just keep going with a couple of these at a time. And then the only other ingredients are 1 cup of confectioner's sugar and 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and that's it. But you know what? What else does a frosting need? Cameraman Dale is all about this frosting. Just thinking about the 4 things that are in it. All right, so I got to turn around here and give this a good whipping, like it's been a bad boy or something. All right, that looks great, smells great, and is totally incorporated. Now, the next thing I need to do, this is going to be tricky, but we'll try. I have a sifter. I have to sift in this 1 cup of powdered sugar. So here we go. I'm going to just do some of it at a time. Normally they say sift it and measure it, but this is actually saying sift it right into the icing. So how interesting is that? It's going to make it very easy to incorporate, I would think. All right, you get the idea. Let me see if I can, there's my timer. Let me see if I can stir this in. It's super simple to do because it's sifted. Look at that. Wow. All right, my timer went off. I'm going to go rotate the pans in the oven. I'm going to finish this and I'll be back for the last step, which is the vanilla. Oh, you guys back? I'm whipping this really creamy icing. You know what's amazing about this? That it's only 1 cup of powdered sugar. That is really going to be super creamy. So the only other thing I need is just a quick teaspoon of vanilla extract to go in there. And of course, we're not going to be able to ice these until they're totally cool, but nothing wrong with making the icing a little bit ahead of time and just setting it aside. And guess what? I'm going to have a guest taster today at the table. There's no way Cameraman Dale is going to pass up pumpkin spice cupcakes with cream cheese icing. All right, look how simple and how beautiful this icing is. Wow. I can't wait to top those cupcakes with this beauty. All right, I'll tell you what, I'm going to see you when they come out of the oven and we're going to take a look-see. Ladies and gentlemen, that only took 20 minutes and this is when I need the smell-o-vision because these things have made the whole entire house smell like a bakery in the very, very best way. So I tucked my icing into the fridge just for a few minutes since it's so soft. I'm going to let these cool for 15 or 20 minutes. After a few minutes, I'll put them on a rack, cool them, and then we are going to see you at the table for some pumpkin spice cupcake tasting. Look who I found!
Hey, here I am. I'm back.
It is Cameraman Dale, Taster Man Dale, back on camera.
I cannot wait to taste these. This was such a smell-o-vision type of a recipe. Wow.
And you know, it is still 90 degrees here in Las Vegas, but we are trying to forget that and we're trying to be autumny in spite of it.
I went out this morning and I said, it's so doggone hot out there.
We're just
People
done.
around the country, rest of the country wouldn't even realize what happens here.
We are done. Anyway.
I'm gonna take this covering off here.
Me too.
And I guess we're gonna eat this like the proper people do, right? In Seinfeld, like they eat the candy bars with the knife and fork.
Knife and fork.
So we're gonna eat our cupcake with the fork.
I want to be a lady, so I'm definitely going to use a fork.
All right, here we go. I think that this is going to be amazing. Oh my goodness.
You
Wow.
don't even know what you like better.
I don't know, that icing is
Icing of the
spectacular,
cake.
but the cake, it's so moist. It's almost like rubber. It just bounces on the plate.
This is the first time I ever made a cake recipe with 2 sticks of melted butter, and I wasn't sure how that was going to translate into moistness, but oh my gosh, overload. And the frosting is fantastic, but little caveat, you're going to need 2 batches of frosting if you want to frost all 24 of those cupcakes. You don't want to be stingy. It's too good.
We have 24 of these?
We have 24 of these.
What are we going to do with 24 of these cupcakes?
All right, I'm going to give you a hint. If you wrap them in wax paper, throw them in the freezer, you could pull one out for breakfast with coffee or tea, and it's like a pumpkin muffin. It's so good.
I know a couple people down at our local pub that will go crazy for these.
No doubt. I'm sure we would not have trouble giving away a few of those 24.
Anyway, it is fantastic. I absolutely love it.
I do as well. Thank you, Martha Stewart. This is a big winner. The recipe I got on her website. We'll also put it in the description box for you. Make these cupcakes.
Yeah, I think we're going to have these made a couple times over the season.
Really, Thanksgiving.
We're actually having
Christmas.
somebody over for Thanksgiving.
Yes,
Yeah, our
family's
granddaughter's coming for
Yay.
Thanksgiving. Yay.
Anyway, they're going to love these. They're pumpkin spice fanatics. Hey, thank you everybody for being with us in Paula's Las Vegas kitchen and for enjoying a little pumpkin spiciness with us.
Hey, what do you think of my hat? Cameraman Dale. How cool is
It's
that?
the bomb.
It is. It's the bomb.
Thanks everybody for being with us. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye, everybody.